I saw the king eat a human heart. It happened on a cold, moonless night when the village was asleep. I wasn't supposed to be there. No one was. But I'd lost one of my goats and followed it toward the palace grounds, hoping the guards wouldn't catch me. The king of Aiva was feared, not loved. They said he could hear whispers through walls and see secrets hidden in shadows. People vanished without a trace, children, farmers, even traders from neighboring lands. But no one dared to speak of it. I crept past the thick bushes near the sacred palace grove when I heard strange chanting. Low voices echoed through the trees like a sick wind. My heart raced, but curiosity kept me rooted to the ground. Slowly, I moved closer, hiding behind a thick tree trunk. The king stood in the center of a clearing, surrounded by his inner circle, his priests, men with scarred faces and hollow eyes. A fire crackled in the middle, casting eerie shadows that danced across the scene. On a stone slab lay something covered in a blood-soaked cloth. My stomach turned when I realized it was a human body. The priests chanted louder, their voices rising like a storm. The king lifted a curved blade, its edge gleaming in the firelight. Without hesitation, he plunged it into the chest of the body, cutting deep until he pulled out a dark, wet heart. Steam rose from it, as if it were still alive. I wanted to scream but bit my lip so hard I tasted blood. The king held the heart high, his face twisted into something monstrous. His eyes glowed like embers as he muttered words I couldn't understand. Then, to my horror, he sank his teeth into it, tearing off a piece like it was ripe fruit. Blood dripped down his chin, staining his royal robes. I stumbled back, a twig snapping under my foot. The chanting stopped. Silence fell like a heavy blanket. The king's head snapped toward my direction. His blood-streaked mouth curled into a sinister grin. My legs refused to move as his glowing eyes pierced through the darkness, locking onto me. "Come forward," he commanded, his voice calm but deadly. I knew if I obeyed, I'd never leave that grove alive. So I did the only thing I could. I ran. Branches whipped against my face as I tore through the forest. Behind me, I heard heavy footsteps and the king's voice echoing in the night. "You cannot outrun me, boy. I own the shadows." But I kept running, fueled by pure terror, until I burst out onto the village path. The sounds faded behind me, swallowed by the dark. I never spoke of what I saw that night. The king ruled for many more years, and people kept disappearing. But I stayed silent, pretending I knew nothing, because in Aiva, knowing the wrong thing could get you killed.